like the videos and subscribe to the videos. We'll bring you the best content in the rugby league because it's Big Dell, PNGBet.com. You know it. Hi guys, Wendell Sailor here for PNGBet.com. And what a game we have for you, the Titans versus the Eels. Well, we know Mitch Moses, he would get so much confidence out of playing Origin football. For a long time, Brad Fittler's always believed in this young bloke. I think he's coached him in and around that Lebanon side. And a lot of people said, well, it should have gone to Cody Walker. Cody Walker is playing career best football. But Mitch got the nod, and I think this will bring a lot of confidence. You look at the Parramatta forward pack. Regan Campbell-Gillard, Reed Marnie. He's, I think, close to the most important ingredient into this team. Just bringing those forwards onto the ball. He's kicking game, and he's just a tough little nugget in and around that forward pack. What a back row. Papali'i, who's been outstanding this year, Madison and Brown. But you look at the back there. Gutherson and Sevo, they are class players who've been doing a really good job. But on the flip side, look at the Titans. The Titans, they played tough in Canberra. I think they smashed them by about 40-odd points on the back of guys like, Brimston, Proctor, Fafita returns from suspension, obviously missed Origin. Big Tino, I love the way Big Tino plays. But there's a real balance in this side from the Titans because of the guys like Fogarty and Taylor. They're getting them around, and Paddy Herbert and those guys in the back are doing their job. I look at the price here. The Titans at home, $2.45. The Parramatta Eels, $1.48. That's a good price. Parramatta Eels, $1.48. Where I'm going with this, I'm giving the Titans the -6 start, and I'm taking the $1.98 because I know that the Eels are very good defensively and they've got a lot of points in them. It's a danger game for the Eels because the Titans have had so much confidence after beating the Canberra the way they did, 40-odd points. But for me, I'm going the Eels, the electric Eels at that. Good work. Hello guys, Wendell Sailor for PNGBet.com. Well, this is going to be anything this game. Seagulls versus the Dragons. The Dragons. Well, what can I say? Mate, they've got so many good young kids here. And this is going to be a tough game for the Dragons because once you get Tommy Turbo back in your team, he gives you so much confidence. We've seen last week against Canberra, this is the problem with the Seagulls. They've got a plan A when Tommy's playing. They haven't got a plan B and plan C. They need to find a plan B and plan C ASAP, or should I say ASAP. So I look at their side here. It's a really good side on paper. Big Paseka there at front row. He leads from the front with Marty Tapau. Olakau'atu, he's been a real revelation there, that young player. I think only 12 games at first grade. He's doing a really good job. And Schuster, very skillful, great footwork, and plays off the cuff too. I think he adds so much to the Manly side there. Now look at their back line. Well, we know the young kids are doing a good job. Saab has scored, virtually a try a game. Parker and Harper have been great. But Ruben Garrick, I think he tied the Manly record the other day. But DCE come back from Origin. And you look at this Dragon side. I want you to look at these, remember these young names. Tyrell Sloan. He's a young kid who's got a massive future. We saw him on debut against Canberra. Pulled a couple of try-saving tackles, scored a try. Cody Ramsey. These guys are the future of the club. Braden Williami. These are some of the young guys. Jackson Ford. So, mate, the boys, there's some players that are suspended, but it's still a pretty good side here. Jack DeBellins in that side, Andrew McCullough. But look, where I see this going here, mate, Manly, they've got to bounce back here. The Dragons are $6.70. Manly, $1.07 or something. This is ridiculous here. The Dragons have got 22 points start, and I'm going to tell you, I can't touch the Dragons with even though they've got some good young kids. I know the kids will give a lot. But when you're going up against a side like Manly with those Origin players back, they were embarrassed last game at Brookvale or whatever you want to call it there, Lottoland. They were embarrassed there. But I'm going to have to go Manly here at the line. So you give the 22.5 points start, and you get $1.85. That's where I'm going. I'd like to see the Dragons stand up here, but obviously you make a few mistakes, and unfortunately, I think the club's going to suffer here, and they need to be in the top 8. Oh well, Saturday afternoon football. I'm calling this game for Triple M. The Raiders versus the Sharks. The Raiders. They showed some Viking spirit last week. I didn't see that coming. They went to Manly, did a job against Manly, and they started playing tough through the middle third. They haven't done that most of the year. That's where they're renowned for getting their starts. Good start, good go forward, being aggressive through the middle third, ripping teams apart. They ripped their heart apart. That's what they did to Manly last week. Manly were averaging 40 to 50 points a game, and all of a sudden, bang, they've turned it on against the Raiders. But the Sharks, I look at the Sharks. The Sharks played really well last week against the Warriors. I tipped the Warriors. I don't know why I kicked them. The Warriors are a team that I tipped. They've got no excuses. Reece Walsh was back last week. You got RTS. You had a good forward pack, Phil Blake, but they just start slow. And I think they've lost 7 games now by less than 6 points. That's right, 7 games by less than 6 points. That's going to cost them a top 8 spot. They played better than that. But I look at this Raiders side. Xavier Savage. He's a good young kid from up there at Cairns, Far North Queensland. Mate, he's one of the fastest players in the game. So on the back of his debut last week, actually it's his starting debut. He played, I think, against the Dragons when there's a few head knocks here. He came on for 10 minutes. So Sebastian Kris is having a good season. But it's all going to fall on guys like Sam Williams and Jack White and how he backs up after Origin. Big Pupper will back up. But look at that back row there. Corey Harawira-Naera, Hudson Young and Ryan Sutton. They set the standard up against guys like Nakora, Toby Rudolph. Brayley's playing some wonderful football, but also I think Trindle's doing a really good job there for the Sharks. I think he scored a try, set up one last week. Will Kennedy's been outstanding at the back, and obviously one of my favourites, Ronaldo Mulatalo, is playing some really good football. And I've got to say this, well done to the players doing the post-try celebrations, because that money goes obviously to Big Mossy Masoi. Obviously we know he had an accident in the last 18 months and he's obviously healing now, so that's what I love about rugby league. We get around our boys and we're a family. So whether it's someone in and around rugby league, whether it's a partner or something's happened, we've seen it time and time again. We get around it and we just stick together. So I'm looking at the prices here. Canberra Raiders $2.23, Sharks $1.58. Where I'm going with this, even though it's down, actually it's not in Canberra now because of obviously the bubble and stuff. The players got the bubble now. Oh, this is a hard one. I'm going to take the Sharks, but minus the 4. I just think winning form's good form, and the Sharks, I think, have lost 1 game out of the last 5. So they're giving 4.5 start for $1.93. So I'm going the Sharks here. I think they can get the Raiders, and the Sharks will get the job done there. And I love the post-try celebration from Big Ueli last week. Hammond Ueli, it was very much the rock stuff. Boom. It was very real. What a game we have for you here. The Cowboys versus the Roosters. Oh, the Cowboys. Geez, when you just think the Cowboys might be starting to do something, some players go missing. But look, Drinkwater and Dearden, it's a new combination. Valentine Holmes obviously goes back to fullback there. Cole Felt on the wing. Look at their forward pack. Their forward pack for me, they've been poor. Made some real bad decisions in their defence, not being tough enough through the forwards. And that's where the Cowboys over the years, they've been able to hold teams. They've been able to hold teams or push it through that forward pack and that middle third, and that allows their backs to do their stuff. I look at their bench, Granville, Cohen Hess. It's not a bad interchange bench, but then I look at the Roosters. Mate, they've got like 6 or 7 injuries still. 3 of their world-class players, are gone for the season and obviously retired. Brett Morris, Jake Friend, Boyd Cordner, and actually Luke Keary. But look at this team they've still got out there. Tedesco, Tupou, Morris, Manu, and Ikavalu. I think he's been a revelation there. I know he's mid-20s, but he's still playing some great football. But the young kids are doing a good job there on the back of Sam Walker and Hutchison. But for me, the beast of the pack is Jawera Hargraves. He was man of the match last week. He rolled up his sleeves against the Bulldogs. It was wet. He took about 20 plus runs, did tackles, didn't take a backward step, got him on the front foot. And that allows guys like Angus Crichton and Victor Radley. Good to see Victor Radley back last week. And their bench did a good job too on the back of guys like Lachlan Lamb and Nat Butcher. Where I see this going? Well, the Cowboys are $2.95, the Roosters are $1.35. What I'm taking there, I'm taking the Roosters every bit of the minus 8.5 for $1.85. They've got so many points in them. They like to play expensive style of football and they can play tough through that middle third. So for me, the Roosters are your best bet. Hello guys, Wendell Saley for PNGBet.com. The Storm versus the Knights. Oh, the Storm. The Storm. I don't know if anyone's heard this, but their winning record in Queensland is 95%. That's right, 95%. That's unheard of. Their home ground is in Melbourne at Amy Park. But so they're not going to care about the bubble or going up there to Queensland. They don't care if the comp's up there. Mate, they're going to love it. Nico Hines has been a revelation at fullback. We haven't spotted Ryan Pappenhausen since Magic Round. He's disappeared, and it's that head knock, and I think there's been a lot of concerns about his head knock, but this bloke has been outstanding. Freddie can see how good he's playing. Remus Smith has been outstanding. Olam does what he does. Munster and Hughes have been magic, but their forward pack for me, this is where they tear teams apart. They're aggressive. They don't give who they play against. They just say, we're coming at you 100 miles an hour. They are the purple juggernaut. So on the back of Bromwich, Brandon Smith, Christian Walsh, and you look at that, Kafusi, Bromwich and Finucane. That's not just an international, that's an Origin international forward pack. That's hard to stop. And then you've got the big Fijian, Kamikamitha, coming off the bench. And it's just a power game. But you look at that Knights side, the Knights side have got some good players. Kalen Ponga, Kurt Mann's playing some good football. Mitch Pearce is the secret there. Mitch needs to get them on the front foot, okay, and bring those players onto the ball. We know what they got there. Saifidi brothers, Mitch Barnett, look at their bench. Cameron Watson, Brody Jones is doing a good job. But Knights at the moment, they just can't get that run going. They got to find that confidence, which has allowed them to win like 2 or 3 games, and then they're back in the mix. At the moment, they just can't find that. I look at the price here. The Knights, they got a good side, the Knights, but their price is $6.30. The Storm, I think they average about 40 points a game at the moment. So the Knights, it's minus 19.5. And can I tell you the way the Knights defend? I'm taking the minus 19.5 for $1.85. I'm getting on the Storm here. It's a Storm warning. Even if some of those Origin players don't back up, we know they got depth. They got players like Cooper Johns. They got Lumi, who's a very handy winger. And it's just hard to go past this Storm side. And what I like about the Storm's culture is they respect each other's international flavour or where they're from. It's all about respecting one another and where you're from, whether you're Tongan, Fijian, whether you're Greek or whatever. And that's one thing that I think you can see that Frank Panisi and Craig Bellamy instill in a great culture. So, the Storm, they'll get the job done here. And I hate to say it, but I think this premiership is theirs to lose. Everything points towards the Storm at the moment, especially with, I think a lot of the games being up there in Queensland. It's a Storm warning. The Warriors versus the Panthers. The Warriors. Every time I think the Warriors can give me something, they give me nothing. They're a team. Have we done that? No, we haven't. No.
You have mentioned them, though.
No, yeah, no.
Because they got dusted by. Well, you were talking about the Sharks.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, yeah. Well, Sunday game, 2 o'clock. We're back to the 2 o'clock game. The Warriors versus the Panthers. Wow. The Panthers, they're going to be ready to scratch and fight because people are saying it's all Melbourne. Well, the Panthers have something to say about that. The Warriors. What can I say about the Warriors? I look at their talent. I look at their roster. Dallin Martinez has there. Reece Walsh at the back. Should have been playing second Origin. Obviously did his hamstring. RTS, Montoya, Cody Nicarima. And I look at the forward pack. Matt Lodge, Fanua Blake, 2 classy front rowers, and their back row. Katoa's been a revelation there for them this season. And then you got guys like Leeson Armour, Kane Evans. But for some reason, they can't put it together for 80 minutes. They give me 50 one week. They give me 60 another week. They give me 30 one week. And then I look at this Panthers side. This Panthers side's a good side. Dylan Edwards comes back at fullback. Staines goes back to the wing. Obviously, Nathan and Crichton into the centres. Matt Burton, mate, he is just so good, Matt Burton. I know they're going to miss Cleary for a little while, but that's not a bad replacement. So, May and Burton in the halves, and Luai obviously is out too. So, mate, they won't miss too much here. You look at that forward pack. Appy Coruscant, Leota, Fisher Harris. Big kick out there. Catewell and Isaiah Yeo. I just can't see the Warriors beating these guys. I'd like to see the Warriors take it to a class side like Panthers. I can't see it happening. You look at number 17 for Panthers, Liam Martin. He's an Origin player. So they've got great depth. Spencer Liu is a really good player. I look at the price here. Warriors $3.15, and you know what? They deserve to be $3.15 because that's what they do sometimes. They're a team that just offers so much, but they don't deliver as much as they should. Panthers are $1.30, but I reckon Panthers, they score from anywhere. They got a great squad. They got great belief in what they're doing. So I am taking the Panthers minus the 10 start. That's right, minus the 10 start for $1.93. That's my best bet of the week. That's my best bet of the week. -10, Panthers to cash in. Ka-ching, ka-ching. Well, hello, Broncos. Welcome back to the winner's circle. Yes, I tipped against you last game because I just didn't think that you had the belief and had the confidence in what you were doing. I think you beat Cronulla 26-18. Well done, my bad. Well done to you guys. West Tigers. Well, I just can't get a gauge on West Tigers. Mate, they're Jekyll and Hyde, hot and cold, whatever you want to call it, up and down. Mate, Dane Laurie at the back has been a revelation. In a side who's been so inconsistent, he's been such a consistent player. He's scoring tries, he's saving tries, he puts himself in the game. He's only 84, 85 kilos, but he plays better than that. He puts his body on the line, and if some of those other players in his team did what he did, they'd probably be in the top 8. But look, I look at the Broncos side. The Broncos got a really good side here. Tessie Nu's playing well at fullback, but I think the big in for these guys are Tony Staggs. I probably didn't realise that Tony Staggs' factor in the last game. He brings so much. Just his strong running. He's one of the strongest runners in the game, but also he has that X factor about him. Brody Croft will get him around the field, but this is where I'm thinking the Broncos need to dominate. It's not the biggest big name forward pack, you know. TC Rabada, Kobe Hetherington in at 13, but when you've got Payne Haas there and Alex Glenn, they set the standard. Obviously, Thomas Flegler will play Origin this week. He'll come off the bench, and Jordan Ricky. They've got to be better here, and they've got to put the West Tigers to the sword. The West Tigers, you just don't know which side's going to turn up. Adam Dewey, I think, should be at 5'8". I think he's your best player. He's been, even though Dan Laurie's been great, he gets himself in the game, Adam Dewey. He's a big body, can kick, and obviously, the more he touches the ball, the better it is. I look at the forward pack here. Forward pack, they're just so hot and cold, you know. Big Lurch, Luluai, he's such a good player, but he's just a bit hot and cold. James Tarmow, he's got a lead from the front there. Often Gowie and Mozambique off the bench. It's a good bench. The Broncos, $1.58. West Tigers, $3.23. I just look at this and I just think, this is a danger game for the Broncos, because if the West Tigers turn up and play like we know they can, the Broncos will get dusted. But look, I'm going to go to Broncos minus the 3.5 start. I just think the Broncos will turn the corner a little bit, especially with that guy there, Tony Staggs, back in the system. So the Broncos for me, minus the 3.5 start. That'll get you $1.80. Yeah, the Broncos. Ride 'em, Broncos. Well, last game to round off, round 18, Bunnies versus the Bulldogs. Oh, the Bulldogs. Bulldogs, they tried so hard last week. They took it to the Roosters at different stages. They had that game. They just didn't close it out. It's been the story of their year, unfortunately, for the Bulldogs. I was impressed with Aaron Shute in the centres. He kept competing. Obviously, Nick Meaney puts himself in and around the game. He's got the Melbourne Storm next year. But also Katoa. He's one of the secrets there to why they're doing so well. He's starting to be really aggressive, really get through that middle third. Josh Jackson's always been a really handy player. Joe Stimson coming off the bench with Dylan Napa. But I look at this Rabbitohs side. The Rabbitohs, they make it look easy. I think at one stage there, the Cowboys were up 12-2, and then all of a sudden, bang, they just pull the trigger. The Bunnies on the back of Cody Walker. I think they scored 3 tries in 6 minutes. It's just what they do, because you know what? They can. They've got the little trick plays. Alex Johnson scored 3. Tane Mills scored 3. There's 6 tries between the 2 wingers, but put it all down to Cody Walker and Adam Reynolds playing the way they do. They're so confident in what they're doing, but also you got Latrell Mitchell at the back. Latrell didn't play last game, but they still had that covered. Their forward pack obviously does a good job. Jaden Sewer, Cam Murray, Big Colin Matangi, he's been outstanding. He'll play Origin this kid. The next couple of years, mark my words, this big Keon Colin Matangi, he will be an Origin player. He's an absolute beast. Damien Cook, we know what Damien Cook can do. I look at that bench. Marshall, Knight, Host, Mago. It's going to be too much to handle for the Bulldogs. The Bunnies, $1.40 to win this game. Oh, that's Captain Einstein could work that out. Bankstown, the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, $8.50. You need every bit of that $8.50. I'm taking South minus the 26-point start for $2. Mate, I just think they've got so many points on the Bunnies. The way they play, you look at that side, Dane Gagai, Campbell Graham, mate, you're not stopping that side. You're not stopping their attack. Once they put their little shifts on down the left and right hand side, Their kicking game is first class. Latrell Mitchell will back up, no doubt, because once he plays Origin Wednesday night, he'll want to play Sunday and won't let him play. And the Bunnies understand now they're on the road to the finals. So they've been beaten by 50 points twice this year. They want to let teams know that they're coming from. Everyone's talking about the Panthers and the Melbourne Storm. But mark my words, the Bunnies aren't out of it yet. They're going to give it a real shot, so they've got to start that run now. That's Big Dell's tips from round 18. Make sure you like and subscribe to the videos. Same time, same place next week. You know it, PNGBet.com.